All right, you guys, you're back live with Regina Sunshine and Dana Butler here on the Get Your Sassy Back show. And I don't know if y'all are having a good time during the break, but we were having a good time.
I'm sorry.
During the break, for real. It's all about what's positive. If you're just tuning in, we are here with the What's Positive management team. We've had such a great time meeting these individuals, and we have next up Miss Krista Baldwin. And you know, I was reading over your bio and your resume, and it is so extensive that I'm gonna let you share the things that are most important to you to share. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I want to thank you guys too for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, we've enjoyed having you here already, and you just getting in the chair, but it feels like you already been.
Oh yeah, y'all like my family. What's positive?
I want to give a shout out to your mom who's here with you. Hey, Mom, thanks for being here. All right. But like I said, there's so many different things that you're involved in, music and dance and community and so many different areas. What are the things that are, I guess, most important to you that you want to share about yourself?
First, I want to say that my first love was dance. So I want to start off with that. I was a dancer all my life, never went to school to dance. That was just something that God gave me. It was a gift. And I say that because Whitney had a gift of singing. Yeah. And some people don't understand that people are anointed. Mm-hmm. And I think they say, oh, she took all those vocal classes, and I want to be able to sing like that. You know, and the same thing, but I was just anointed with dance. So I knew how to do it, and I started off with that, and that was my first love. And then I started getting into other things after that. I got offered to do a lot of things, as well as helping out with the community. And I wanted to give back. You know, I got offered to teach for the Mayor Shirley Franklin for minorities to get off the street and to give back to them. And one thing I do appreciate with Miss Franklin was she paid them. And a lot of people don't know that she paid the kids. You know, I think it was like $8.50 an hour, but just to get them off the street, for them to learn, you know, theater. And because a lot of things with theater, the theater arts is going away out of school. A lot of people are trying to take that out of school. So that was something that really, really inspired me, and I wanted to give back to them.
Awesome. Yes. I want to touch on that later. Okay. That whole removing the arts thing is something we need to address because it takes away that self-expression that kids need. But what's positive? How did you become part of the What's Positive management?
Well, I met Mr. Hutchins, and it was funny because I told him I was looking for a new manager. I wanted somebody who believed in me, who knew and seen that I'm dedicated and determined. And he said, Krista, give me 90 days. And that's exactly what he said. He said, give me 90 days. He said, and I said, yeah, because if you don't do it, I'm going to fire you. So that's how I am. I was like, I'm going to give you 90 days. And you know what? It was so great because what I learned about him was he was an inspiration to me. Every morning, and this is truly, my mom could tell, she said, Krista, your phone is going off. And I said, oh, there's nobody but Kenneth. I said, he texts me every morning something from the Bible or scripture. Yes,
and that's,
you get them too? Yes. And that's what I love about that, because honestly, we do need to build and build a family. And I told him that when I wanted an agent and a manager who believed in me, and I wanted to be a family, because I truly believe that's very, very important. And that's what drove me to him. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you 90 days. And he did what he said he was going to do way before the 90 days. And that was actually a blessing.
He's quite contagious and infectious.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you kind of get addicted to the positive, don't you?
Yes, you do.
I remember one morning I didn't get a message. I was like, how are you going to not send me a message this morning?
7 o'clock. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, current projects. Tell us about some of the current projects that you're working on.
All right. So this blew my mind. You know, right now I'm actually working with the Latino community. We wanted to do something a little bit different. And what was different about that was I never thought about working with them. And Kenneth said, let's do something that's out of the box. Yeah. You know, let's step away for a little bit and go somewhere else. And then I got signed to Marvelous Entertainment with Mr. Julio Velez. And I was honored to be with him because I was like, wow, this is a big guy. You know, he works with J-Lo and a lot of people. And so I said, you know, I want to do it. So I do have a surprise. I don't want to say anything right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know he's listening. So it's going to be a big surprise to everyone what's going on with this, with the Latino community. And I wanted to give back to them, too, as well, and start a theater program for them. And just do something because we need that, and we need for people to give back to the community. I think a lot of people fail to understand that we are all about ourselves. A lot of us about ourselves and what we can get out of it, but not giving back to others.
Yeah. So. Well, since you mentioned wanting to start, you know, the theater company for the Latino community.
Yes,
Let's go back to what I mentioned before. How important is it that we keep arts in our schools?
It's very important. I mean, I studied at New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, and I went to Lee Strasberg, which is one of the well-known schools. And I remember when I started at Strasberg, a lot of people said, well, there's not a lot of African-American people that enter that school because there's no financial aid. You have to find your own funding for that school. I said, no, I will get in that school. And I did. You know what I mean? And when I was in school, it was only 2 African-American people. And it's so crazy because when I do go to theater production like Broadway and things, I only see a handful of us at the production. But if Tyler Perry do something, you see the whole audience is full. Yeah. And I said, and I love Tyler, don't get it wrong. Oh, he is awesome, awesome, awesome. But we also need to step into Broadway and see other things too, because arts, I learned when I got into the arts, it helped me step outside of who I was. Mm-hmm. And I remember in class, Mr. C, I call him Mr. C, his name is Mr. Kalunga. He said, he tried to make everybody cry. He said, Krista, you gotta cry. I said, honey, I've been through the storm and I'm tired of crying. And then one day in class, he made me cry. And he said, oh my gosh, she cried, oh my God. And the whole class started clapping. And I said, but I felt it. I felt the hurt. I felt the pain and all the things that I was going through because I used to harbor it. And I end up letting it go. And I said, sometimes it gives us a way of expressing ourselves and just to let go and to be who you truly are in theater, because that's what it is. It's being someone else and it's being their character. It's like when you see actors, you say, well, how can Denzel or these people be, they played their role so good. Meryl Streep was just so good and it was so believable because she truly took what she really had from life experiences and used it into their character. And that's why it's so believable. You can go to school to try to be an actor or learn theater, but honestly, it's truly within. You have to learn how to pull it out within your soul and say, I have been through the storm. I have, whether you've been raped or whether you've been abused by your family or mistreated, even verbally abused, physically, mentally, you let that go and you use it into your character.
That's awesome. When you're speaking, I think about even with purpose. People are out looking for purpose, but purpose is within them. And you just have to seek within to find that. Mm-hmm. So as we're talking about purpose, what do you believe your purpose is?
Giving back. This is funny when you say that because years ago, back in the 90s, I met this pastor. And he said, Krista, you don't understand. And I was out there. I was partying, never did drugs, anything like that, never had children. Went to the club Thursday through Sunday, and then I would, get drunk and be like, oh, God, please don't let me be sick in the morning, and then be back out doing it again, And so he said, let me tell you something. He talked to me, and sometimes we need that person to give us that talk, and like I said, you could talk to a person and they could say it in one way and somebody else could say the same thing in another way. Yes. And you'd be like, well, I listened to this person, and he said, you're an angel and don't even know it. He said, God has given you a gift. He said, do you know what your purpose is in life? I said, I don't. He said, well, you need to think about it. And I said, well, give me about 2 weeks and I'll come back to you. And really, as I thought about it and got more into the church and started reading my Bible and listen to elders and speaking to them, I started learning. I said, I do know my purpose because we're all here on earth for a purpose. We're just not living just to be living. We all have a purpose on this earth. And mine was to give back and to be there for others because, I wanted to do something for other people. I used to see them say, Krista, I really can't do it. And I didn't think I can make it. I'm like, well, what made you feel like that? And sometimes their parents or people discouraging them, and I say, no. I say, look, if you want to be an astronaut, call me. I'm going to see how I can call NASA and make it happen because nothing is impossible. And that's what a lot of us think. They think it's impossible to do something like that. So,
and a lot of it goes back to someone believing in you.
Absolutely.
I'm a teacher and I tell my colleagues so often, most of those students, it's not a challenge with math. They just need someone to believe in them until they can believe in themselves. And because I expect the best from them, because I believe in them, that best begins to come out of them. And that's what I'm hearing when you're speaking.
Well, people so negative.
Yes.
That's all you hear, and you learn that growing up. Your parents said, you still doing the same thing and hanging with the same people. Those are not your friends. And you be like, oh, she crazy. Mom, I'm having a good time, or grandma, I'm having, And when you get older and you start realizing, and that's why I pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding every day. And I ask God to give me a new spirit and a clean heart, And so when I started realizing things, I said, what? I said, you're absolutely right. Because some people are not going where you got to go. It's not meant for them to walk down that same road with you. And I learned that because I always wanted to help people. I was like, girl, no, you need to come with me.
Yes.
Come with me. You can network and people can help you. And they say they want it, but they really don't. You know what I mean? And then I said, you know what? They not meant to be with me. You know, so, and they said the higher you go, sometimes your circle get tighter.
It does.
It does.
It does. It goes back to what I was saying before about that separation time. Every time God separates me, you know, the people that drop off.
Oh yeah.
I find people that drop off as well, but that's a part of the journey that you're on. And sometimes it can be a lonely journey.
Thank you. And I never whitened them. My dentist said the same thing. Never whitened them. Well, you know what? I never had a cup of coffee a day in my life. Never had a cup of coffee. Don't even know what it tastes like. Nor a cigarette. Yeah, nothing. Never.
Mama said no, a cigarette.
Yeah.
Was your resume being like 8 pages long? Because I was trying to read it.
You know it ain't no 8 pages.
If you have, being so accomplished, what do you see for tomorrow?
To be honest with you, I love my career, but I also want someone to love me and to be in love. That's something I haven't had for a long time.
Is your whole crew single? How's that work?
No. Married.
Okay.
I'm single.
Married, everybody else single.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't see that too often. He real proud of that over there. You the man, but oh man, yeah, I'm married.
No. He knows what a blessing he has.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When you know what you got, right, Akeem? That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that is the real story. That is the real story.
Well, just to have someone on my side, I noticed that by me having an extensive career that it's hard to be in a relationship. It is very hard. I mean, and I've called him many a day. Yeah, and I've cried. He said, Krista, stop it. He said, you ain't got time. And I said, but you don't understand. But we're women. And I think men sometimes don't understand how we feel.
I think we had that conversation.
We are emotional creatures. What's wrong with you? And I'm like,
He told me to say, he said, you ain't got time.
you ain't got time. And I said, some days and I get it. Some days I wake up, I said, honey, I don't want to be with nobody. Lord have mercy. And then some days I wake up, I say, God, I just want somebody to call me and tell me how much they love me. You know what I mean? And it gets like that because one day I was driving and I pulled over and I pulled in this outlet center and I just started crying and started praying because I said, I'm lonely. And it wasn't even just about being without a man. It was more so I realized that a lot of the friends that I thought were friends have fell off. And I said, I'm out here by myself for real. But then I thought about for a moment, I collected myself and I said, wait a minute. I said, how in the world can I sit here and talk about I'm by myself when I got God?
That's right.
I say, that's my source. Everything else is my resources. I said, he keep me focused. And he said, I got you. He said, you told me this is what you want. He said, sometimes you can't have this and have this too.
That's exactly right.
Because we want to stride the fence and, go back and forth. And he said, either you go be on my side or you're not. Because we do have free will to do whatever we want to do. But I said, you know what? I said, I know when I do follow him, because I am just a servant of God, that I can't take these people with me. Mm-hmm. And I realized that, and I said, I'm not alone. Because he had guided me. A lot of people said, well, how you moved to New York and all these places by yourself and did the things you did? I said, because I had God. I said, I kept him first. And I said, and when I did move, I noticed that a lot of people are lost. They have no clue. And I sit there and I listen to them, and some people don't even believe in God, And I said, wow. So, that's how I have made it.
I love it. I mean, I would listen to you talking. It sounds so familiar to me, the journey. That whole trying to take everybody with you. I call it the pack mule syndrome. I'm going to pack everybody. I'm going to take everybody with me. But I had to recognize it had to be me and him first. Yeah. And when he elevates me and he puts me in places where I'm blessed, then I'll be able to reach back and bless other people. Right now, I got to just follow him. I just got to stay focused on him.
Well, you have people that are very jealous. And you know what? But this is how it works. My friend said, it ain't jealousy. He said, first you start with envy, then jealousy, then envy all forms hate. He said, that's a category. And I said, you know what's absolutely right. Because I've had people say, Krista, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. But then when I'm doing, they say, well, how'd she get this? I don't understand how she can, and I said, wait a minute. And I'm going to tell you something. This is on everything. Not one person can say anything bad about me. I never stabbed my friends in the back. Amen. I even told my mom I never been asking for gas money. Okay? They have asked me for gas money. I said, wait a minute. I'm driving the cab. You know what I'm saying? I never asked you for anything. But I said, wait. And I had to evaluate my friends. And I said, are they truly, truly my friends? And they really, really out there for me? Or are they saying, okay, well, I want to ride this ship with her and see what I can get? And so, and that's what I had to learn.